Hello everyone, Sonic Healy Gang here. Welcome to the very first video on my new channel. This channel is going to be for all my wrestling content going forward. For a while now, I've wanted to make a lot of wrestling related content, so I feel like it would be a good idea to separate this content from my main channel, where I'm going to be doing a variety of things, but mainly focusing on video games and TV shows. I don't want to clog the feeds of people who have subscribed to me for that content with something they might have no interest in. And vice versa, if someone only wants to see wrestling content, now we have a place for that. On this channel, you're going to see videos like this, current discussion topics, predictions, maybe show reviews, as well as topics from the history of wrestling, fantasy rebookings. That's something I'm interested in doing. I want to make all kinds of videos on WWE 2K25, including a universe mode series, and we'll be playing other wrestling games too. I have a lot of hopes for this channel, so if any of that sounds good to you, please subscribe. And now, if you're a first-time viewer of mine, I'm sorry for such a long intro. Let's get into the predictions. The road to WrestleMania this year has been far bumpier than any since Triple H took over. But not in the good sense like Mania 40, which kinda kept you in suspense. This year's been very confusing and somewhat frustrating instead. And there are so many moving parts. It's John Cena's final WrestleMania. CM Punk obsessed with main eventing WrestleMania. Who will have the unfortunate displeasure of facing Logan Paul? And much more. Nobody, though, seems to have a knack for ruining the WrestleMania plans than the final boss, The Rock. I actually started making this video, but then I got sick for a week, and in that time, The Rock returned to tell Cody Rhodes that he wants his soul. Part of my predictions will be predicting who wins the chamber matches, but first things first, I do have to predict if Cody Rhodes will give The Rock his soul. And any of my predictions that are answered before this video comes out will do a little fun edit to see if I was correct or if I was wrong. So as for Cody Rhodes, I don't think he will give The Rock his soul.
Hey, Rock! Go fuck yourself!
I know people want to see Corporate Cody, the Code Lander, as people call him. But I think Cody is the face of the future, and they won't go down that route for some time. That opens up to a different question though. Does anyone else sell out to The Rock? Will it be John Cena? Will it be CM Punk? Will it be Drew McIntyre? No, it won't be Drew McIntyre. That leaves two men, John Cena and CM Punk. Almost unthinkable to think either would sell out, but past the surface level, it could make a fair bit of sense. Punk is obsessed with main eventing WrestleMania, and he's had it, as he believes, stolen from him multiple times in the past, by none other than The Rock, funnily enough. But it could be a story of him wanting it no matter what it takes, and that he's running out of time to do it, that leads CM Punk to become Company Man Punk. If you can't beat him, join him. While I think that could be a good option, I think the sellout more likely could be John Cena. When Cena made his first appearance this year, it sounded like old happy-go-lucky Cena again, but after he lost the Rumble, something shifted. Losing to Jey Uso does things to a man. His promo at the press conference announcing he'd be in the chamber without having to qualify was very serious. It wasn't the same guy we'd grown accustomed to for a few years now. Suddenly, he wasn't doing that for his fans. He stated that it was best for business. That, mixed with an insane fact, which is John Cena has not won a singles match or any significant match in WWE since April of 2018. Almost 7 years ago. Over 2,000 days ago. Is it finally time we see the impossible and see John Cena turn heel ahead of his final WrestleMania main event against Cody Rhodes and sell his soul to win a record-breaking 17th World Championship? A while ago, I would have said Cena is never turning heel. Seemed obvious that was all long dead and he'd simply retire a babyface. But I think it's now a real possibility amidst the chaos that is going to be this build to WrestleMania.
Success!
Regardless of the path we take to get there though, I do believe the WWE title match at WrestleMania 41 will be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. The old face of the franchise versus the new one. Cena's final WrestleMania has to be a good one, and that match will definitely be worthy of it. If that is the match, I would be very excited for it. As for the women's elimination chamber, luckily no soul selling will be happening, and this should be a more straightforward affair. Before Monday, I believed Liv Morgan was winning this match en route to yet another Rhea versus Liv match, which would be terrible. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez won the tag team championships off Bianca Belair and Naomi. To me, this gives a lot of credibility to the idea that Bianca would actually win the chamber despite the lack of build to the massive match that would be Rhea versus Bianca. To the point where I do believe this will be the case. Now, Jade Cargill has been cleared to compete again, so where is that story left? What I think is going to happen is Bianca and Naomi will be the final two in the chamber, and Jade will attack Naomi, answering the question that Naomi was the one who attacked her, stealing her spot as the tag team champion.
Success!
Bianca will win the Elimination Chamber and face Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Meanwhile, this will also set up Naomi versus Jade Cargill to happen at WrestleMania. As for Liv, I think her and Raquel end up facing Io and Dakota for the tag belts at WrestleMania.
Failure.
Naomi versus Jade should probably be fine. That would be the first real big test they've given Jade. So far, she's been hidden away in tag matches. Naomi is a great test for her. Jade has only really had one great match in her career so far in her final AEW match. So I would be interested to see if all that PC time has done her any good. Update. This is being written and recorded after the Elimination Chamber and after the week after the Elimination Chamber. So, Io Sky is now the Women's World Champion. Something I did not even consider being a possibility, to be honest. As awesome as I believe that is. The match now seems obvious to be a triple threat between Io, Bianca, and Rhea. Rhea can argue the match should have been a disqualification or whatever. Somehow she'll be added to the match. which clears up what I think Io will be doing at Mania this year. And I think this is an exciting improvement from just Bianca versus Rhea. Obviously that one-on-one must come one day, but I don't think it's the time yet. Let it simmer, let it build. In the meantime, Io makes everything better because she's the best women's wrestler in the entire world, and I don't think it's controversial to say so. Honestly, this match should main event night 1, but I doubt it will. But now for Liv Morgan. My new prediction is that her and Raquel take on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the tag team titles. Alexa will have joined the Wyatt Six, finally actually giving them a 6th member. There have been multiple interactions between Liv and Alexa and multiple teases of Alexa joining the Wyatts. I'm sure the Wyatts would get involved in this match to even the numbers against the Judgment Day. Update over. Also, coming out of this chamber, I think a match that has been building for months will be confirmed for Mania, and that will be Bayley versus Roxanne Perez. I know you may think I am being optimistic as the #1 rock star, but I think Bayley has successfully politicked her way into getting Roxanne on the Mania card, which is why she is the GOAT. And it just makes sense. Roxanne has been long overdue her call-up. She carried NXT on her back as one of the best ever champions in the brand's history. She deserves having the rocket strapped to her, much like Tiffany Stratton did. Now we have gotten the chamber matches out of the way. Let's talk just a little bit about 2 matches already confirmed, those being the Royal Rumble winners matches, Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton and Jey Uso versus Gunther. I think everyone saw the Charlotte win coming. I have no problem with it, really. I don't think Charlotte needed to win, but it's fine. The match should be good. People have compared her and Tiffany a lot. I don't really see the similarities other than them being blonde, but people have done it, so it's a good basis for a feud. The classic young hotshot meeting the top woman in the company. But Jey versus Gunther. Oh boy, people are upset about this one. Seems like every day this is what people talk about online. I'll say I don't hate Jey Uso. People mainly on the internet have a very seething hatred of this man. I don't. He has a great vibe. His matches are hit or miss. I don't think on average they're as bad as people claim they are. But he's had some pretty bad matches. At last year's Mania, he had the worst WWE match of the entire year. But his popularity is undeniable. Disregarding part-timers, he's probably the 3rd most popular guy on the active roster behind Punk and Cody Rhodes. For those reasons, it's fine. You might not like it, but they are giving the fans what they want, in a way. At least the fans that pay their insane ticket prices. And WWE, honestly, isn't known for giving the fans what they want. For months, a J World title win felt inevitable to me. I just wish it wasn't at WrestleMania, maybe selfishly. I'm just saying, we could have had CM Punk in a world title match in the main event of WrestleMania. Punk and Cena both main eventing in world title matches. I just can't help but look at Jay and sigh because of that. But I don't want to dwell too much on the matches we already know is happening. This video is about predicting what we don't know. This is hard because there are a lot of people you can't imagine being left off the Wrestlemania card. But at the same time, we all know Triple H doesn't like having too many matches. It is very hard trying to predict what the right balance will be. And I don't want to load the show up with too many multi-person matches. All that being said, now that we've locked in the world title matches, let's discuss mid-card titles, where, I'll be honest, I might have loaded the show up with too many multi-man matches. Let's start with the only men's tag team title match I have written down, which is DIY versus the Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns. Do not have a world tag title match listed. Unfortunately, I just didn't think we had the room, and Raw's tag team title scene is kind of neglected. SmackDown's, however, is a focal point of the show. And the way I see it, you have three main teams really jockeying for position, those being the three in this match. At the Royal Rumble, the Profits screwed over the Machine Guns, which to me very simply sets up this match. Now, singles mid-card belts. I'm afraid the matches I got here kind of scream, get everyone on the card, but I'm sticking with them. For the United States Championship, I have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes versus Jimmy Uso versus The Miz versus Damian Priest in a ladder match. I think the US title is the most wide open division in WWE right now, so the classic Mania ladder match would work best for them. Multiple people could walk out of this match the United States champion.
Failure.
Update. On SmackDown, LA Knight reclaimed the US title from Shinsuke Nakamura. How does that change this match? Well, I would sub out Damian Priest for the new reigning champion LA Knight. And funnily, Priest will take the spot I originally had planned for LA Knight, which is convenient, and we'll talk about that in a bit. For the Intercontinental Championship, we have a little less crowded match, but still multi-man. We have the champion Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor versus Penta versus Sheamus in a fatal four-way. This match, less about the unpredictability of the winner, as I think there's only really two options here. Although you could crown Penta because he's been kicking ass since he debuted, I really think it comes down to Sheamus winning or Braun retaining. If you want to have Sheamus win and finally finish his story of becoming the IC champion, I think now would be the time. Do it at WrestleMania this year before people completely lose interest in it, because it will get old making Sheamus be the first challenger for every new IC champion. Moving now to the women's counterparts for the titles. I would like to believe that these titles that just were introduced will find their way onto the Mania card. So let's start again with the United States Championship. I think this match could be an open challenge maybe. I'm actually kind of just stealing an idea from Chelsea herself. An open challenge for a woman from the past to challenge for the belt. I think that woman would be Nikki Bella, though I'm not extremely confident in this match. I think Nikki will be involved in Mania some way, and I don't see why it couldn't be this way. And for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, we have a rematch we've been wanting to see since Lyra came to the main roster. Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. The bird versus the man, as it were, for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, at the beginning of the year, I kinda assumed this was a lock when Lyra won the belt. I mean, Lyra has the belt, Becky signed a contract. It kind of fits the theme of what the other horsewomen are doing right now. So, it looks like Bayley and Charlotte are gonna pass the torch, sort of. This could be Becky's way of doing that also. Albeit, Lyra has already beaten her, but this would mean way more. But Becky still is missing in action, and every week that passes makes the chances of this match actually feel very slim. And that would suck, because if she's not facing Becky, I'm not sure she makes the card. There are great women for her to face, don't get me wrong, but this match is the match that screams Wrestlemania. So I'm sincerely hoping this match does happen. Just like that, all our title matches are mapped out now. I'll put them on screen to refresh your memory. Now we can talk about non-title matches. The trouble is, at this point, I've already talked about 12 matches, and WrestleMania 40 had 13 matches, not counting the Money in the Bank cash-in. So realistically, I've gone way over the limit here because I have 5 more matches to go through here. So, we'll probably have to cut something. I'll just lay all these out as possibilities just in case. Match 1. New Day versus Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee. This is one I can definitely see not happening. I mainly wrote this down because there are certain people you have to think are just automatic to be on the WrestleMania card. New Day is that to me, but if they aren't, Rey Mysterio definitely is. That's really the part I struggled with making this video. There are people I can't imagine not being at WrestleMania, but it seems that very well could be the case. If this match is on the card, maybe Big E gets involved somehow. I don't know what his status is, but a payoff to that amazing promo where Kofi and Woods kicked him out would be great. Match 2. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Originally, I thought this would end up being LA Knight versus Drew, due to the little beef they got into earlier in the year at the Rumble, but it seems clear now this is the way they'll go. Pretty confident this one is happening. Match 3. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I'm not happy about it either, but unfortunately someone has to have the displeasure of facing Logan at WrestleMania. That person seems pretty clearly like it will be the Phenomenal One. Continuing AJ's trend of never having good WrestleMania opponents. At least he had Undertaker's last match though. Match 4. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. 2 of Triple H's favorites and a match that has been built to for a while. Orton wouldn't have returned at the Chamber if this wasn't happening. I think some kind of stipulation is added to this. Dare I say a last man standing match? Or maybe just a street fight, but you basically already did one with Sammy and the unsanctioned match. Either way, this match will be on the Mania card. I think Sammy will be involved and screw KO out of the match, getting him involved in the show. Match 5. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Will almost certainly be the Night 1 main event. Punk finally getting to main event night 1 of a 2-night
buy one get one free extravaganza.
3 men who hate each other fighting it out in the main event, because for some reason we can never get a one-on-one match with Rollins and Roman. I think I already made it pretty clear I would rather see Punk challenge for a world title. Can't help but feel like this match feels a little awkward. Like someone is here that just shouldn't be. Like, I feel like removing any one man from this match gives you a better match somehow. Seth v Roman, Seth v Punk, Punk v Roman. All of them are way more interesting to me, but this should still be a good match. Perhaps it being a triple threat can save us from some of the slow stare downs and walking around the ring talking you get in so many of Roman's matches nowadays. And that is every match that I think could be at Mania. I'll show them all again now. The problem with this is it's 17 matches. That's a lot. I don't think Triple H would do that many, especially since he loves short match cards. So from my list, what do I think would be cut? Well, I already mentioned, as sad as it would make me, New Day versus Rey and Dragon Lee is probably the most cuttable match on the list. Other than that, I hate to say it, but I think the women's mid-card titles might not make the card. I don't like that, and I think it's important they do this to establish them, but they are suffering from a lack of direction and care put into the booking. So it wouldn't surprise me if they get relegated to the Go Home or the After Mania show, especially if Becky isn't showing up for Lyra, which feels more and more like that will be the case. There's also the possibility, I must admit, even as the #1 rock star, that Roxanne versus Bayley is relegated to Stand and Deliver. To close out this video, let's quickly go down the whole list, even the ones that might not happen, and predict winners. Jay versus Gunther, Jay Uso. Charlotte versus Tiffany, Tiffany. I have to believe they're not that dumb. Cena versus Cody, Cena. I think Cody will win it back down the line, but they waited a million years to turn Cena, so I don't think he'll lose now that they've done it. Bianca versus Io versus Rhea. Io. I think Rhea and Bianca will be too focused on each other, giving Io the opportunity to win. IC title match, Sheamus. I think it's finally time to make this happen. US title match, Jimmy Uso. Maybe a little shock, but this is just kind of a gut feeling that at WrestleMania they'll have both brothers walk out with the belts and have that moment where they pose together, all that stuff. Women's IC title, Lyra. Pass that torch. Women's US title, Chelsea Green retains. I could see them doing the shock, but does anyone really want to give Nikki Bella a belt in 2025? WWE Tag Team titles, the Motor City Machine Guns. I think they're very high on them, rightfully so, and they'll walk out of their first WrestleMania with a win and the tag team titles. The women's tag team titles, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Probably see the whole White Six take down the Judgment Day. This would be a feel-good moment. New Day versus Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. Dragon and Rey via Big E interference or distraction, if this does happen. Bayley versus Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez. Pass that torch, baby. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre. He really needs the win. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. I can't even let myself even consider that AJ loses this match. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton via Sammy interference. Naomi versus Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill, you can't have her lose her first big singles match. And finally, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. I'm going with CM Punk. Maybe it has something to do with that damn favor. Maybe Seth and Roman just take each other out. I don't know. But I think Punk wins in his first WrestleMania main event. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe and like the video. All that. I hope you will join me in this new channel. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm completely wrong? What do you think will be the card at WrestleMania? And do you agree that perhaps this WrestleMania does feel a little underwhelming? Let me know in the comments. And I hope you have a good day.